Well, you'd have to say that is just what the doctor ordered for Liverpool after the disappointment of a goalless draw with a struggling Manchester United here at Anfield. They backed it up by thrashing West Ham 5-1 to reach the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, and it's not just a good result but a really, really good performance. Liverpool struggled, didn't they, in attack against Manchester United last time out, but here they were so convincing from the first whistle, really, so dominant of West Ham, kept them penned in constantly, and then they had the goals to show for it. They were really fluid in attack. They created chance after chance, and that, I think, is what the fans, when they turned up here tonight, really wanted to see from Liverpool, was that fluidity return, because it wasn't just against Manchester United. That's been a bit of a recurring theme, hasn't it, in recent weeks, that they've maybe struggled for goals or to get goals from the forwards and to play that sort of fluid attacking football. They've really been relying on sort of world-class goals to get them out of holes at times, but none of that here. They were dominant, as I say, from the first whistle against a West Ham side that also makes 6 changes, but you know, it had plenty of quality on the pitch. You know, David Moyes has got a really sort of dangerous squad at his disposal there, and so this could have been a real banana skin for Liverpool, particularly if that confidence blow against United had really sort of told here, but there was no signs of that whatsoever, and Liverpool themselves managing to make 6 changes and being so fluid going forward. That's exactly what the manager and exactly what the fans here in attendance at Anfield tonight would have wanted. Now, I think it was a bit of a surprise in terms of the team selection here. You thought, although Jurgen Klopp makes 6 changes, it's still a strong team with some big names in there. I'm thinking the likes of Van Dijk starting, Szoboszlai as well. Obviously, these are players who will definitely be involved against Arsenal, but you know, amidst the fact that he makes 6 changes as well, so there's a nice balance really between Liverpool going strong and going with a lot of those first teamers, the ones who they want to get confidence in, but also the fact that they've made enough changes to hopefully keep them steady for Arsenal and not see too much fatigue. And I think always when you get a win like this as well, the fatigue really it sort of fades away. It goes to the back of the mind a little bit easier when you're winning games that get you into semi-finals. So I think Jurgen Klopp has got to think that his team selection absolutely paid off, and he was able as well, because Liverpool were leading so comfortably quite early in the game, to make the substitutions he wanted to around the hour mark and make changes there. So really a perfect night all in for Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp, and they'll be really, really happy with not just the way they played, but as I say, the fact that they were able to make the subs they wanted, the pre-planned subs, and book the place in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. So all really, really positive for Liverpool tonight. Now I'm going to go through the team news. The team and the individuals as they played as usual, and I'll start, of course, with the goalkeeper, Quevin Kelleher. Now, wow, in terms of quiet nights, it's about as good as it gets for a goalkeeper. I think he faces just the one shot all night. There's a good punch he makes before that in the second half. He comes out and there's a dangerous cross he gets to, but apart from that, only faces the one shot. Of course, unfortunately, it does find the back of the net, Bowen, but I had a really good angle on it here, and it's at the Anfield Road end there. We have a really good angle of where the goal is there, and once Bowen cuts in on his right and gets past Quanta, it's just a really good finish on his right foot. Sometimes you just got to give credit to the forward in that position. I think it's one that maybe Alisson could save, maybe he gets close to, but we are of course talking about a freak of a goalkeeper there, so can't really put anything on Kelleher for that, and largely a quiet night for him, where we just see a little bit of how good he is with his feet and things like that. And as I say, other than the punch, not a lot for him to do, so a good quiet outing, and that's exactly what he'll want and what Jurgen Klopp will want every time he's in the team. Now moving to defence and start at right back, Joe Gomez starting there, giving Trent Alexander-Arnold a rest, and I thought another brilliant performance from him. I've spoken before on these videos about how he's really come on and made that right back role his own. I think he's really learned a lot about how to play that, and you don't lose anything in terms of his going forward when you play Joe Gomez there. And I thought another example of that tonight really is he's just good on both sides of the ball, really rounded right back. He wins 4 out of 4 in terms of ground duels, and he just helps Liverpool in terms of holding that width and playing as a traditional right back. He doesn't do that, inverts into midfield as much as Trent Alexander-Arnold does, and I think that gives Liverpool better width actually, and sort of helps them in attack. So that's maybe something for Jurgen Klopp to think about when Trent Alexander-Arnold comes back in the team. Does he need to push him into midfield as frequently, or is it better to hold the width? Does that make things easier for the forwards and make things easier for the team as a whole creatively? But as I say, just talking about him individually, Joe Gomez, aside from that debate, I thought a really good performance from him again. Alongside him in defence, Jarell Quansah given another opportunity, and thought another marvellous performance from him. Now, we've seen him in the Europa League this season. He's been really impressive in that competition, but obviously it's a huge step up when you come into a game like this. It's a quarter-final in the Cup, but also against a very good Premier League side who are going to finish top half at least and will be in and around the European spots. And every time you put Quansah in a new test, a new difficult test, and you think, you know, this could be the moment where you see weaknesses or anything like that, you just steps up to it every time, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant again. 3 out of 4 aerial duels won, which is what you want, but also, as well as the defensive stuff, he helps Liverpool keep it down to 1 goal. I think he will be a little bit disappointed that Bowen gets past him for the goal that West Ham score, but it's kind of unlucky. It ricochets off his legs. It's just one of those where he's gotten a bit unfortunate with that. But one of the things I think stands out most, other than his defensive work, was his ability to pass the ball. Some of the balls he's firing through the lines was so reminiscent of what Van Dijk does, and his long balls. He completes 9 out of 14 long balls tonight, which I think gives you an idea that he really has got that passing range. It's not just that he's got that passing range; he's got the confidence to use it as well. And we saw so much of that tonight. So another really big step forward for him. And I think, going into the semi-finals of this competition, he'll want to keep his place in the team, because he's stepped up now with Joel Matip out to be that fourth choice centre half, and he should think that, on the merit of his performances, he deserves to be in the team when these games come around. So hoping to see him again in the semi-finals. Now, alongside him, obviously, Virgil van Dijk makes the start and gets a run out this reduced to an hour, which is exactly what the manager would have wanted for him. Get a little bit of rest that last half an hour so he can be ready for Arsenal. But he's just brilliant as usual. I don't really have to go into too much about how Van Dijk, the brilliance of Virgil van Dijk, just so dominant, keeps Liverpool on the front foot. And I think it's really helpful for Quansah to have someone of such experience alongside him. Quansah's not someone who needs to be talked to through the game constantly, but getting advice from someone like Virgil van Dijk when you're in the middle of a game into any tough moments, that can be massively helpful. So another good outing for the captain, and hopefully ready for him to come in and have another stellar performance against Arsenal, because he's back in the form of his life really recently, hasn't he? He's been brilliant again this season. Now I'll just finish off the defence now with Kostas Tsimikas, another one who I think is in brilliant form at the moment. I've been a big backer of his, I think, since he come into the team. I think he had a rough couple of moments when he first came in. He needed that rhythm, the constant games, but I just thought he was absolutely brilliant again tonight. He completes 3 out of 3 dribbles, which shows you he's a real threat on the attacking side of the thing. That's not something that you feel that, Liverpool are massively missing Andy Robertson. I think Tsimikas does that really well. He crosses the ball dangerously as well. He's got good delivery from corners. So we saw a lot of that tonight. But he also, I thought Kudus in the sort of start of the game looked like West Ham's most dangerous player, but Tsimikas dealt with him really well in terms of just pushing him inside, passing him on, making sure that he didn't have a minute to touch the ball. They always got tight to him down this side. We could see it really well down on this flank. So another really good performance from him, I thought, at left back. And he's doing a great job in the absence of Andy Robertson, and of course will definitely be in the team for the Arsenal game, you'd imagine, because he is really in good form at the moment and absolutely deserves to be there. Now, moving to midfield now, Wataru Endo getting another start in that holding midfield role in the absence of Alexis McAllister, and again I think he's really come into form of late. I think it's been difficult for him in that step up to the pace of the Premier League, or playing against Premier League teams like this, and it's something he's actually spoken to us about in the mix zone, that the Premier League sort of, even though he knew that it was a faster league, it came as a bit of a shock to him. So I really do think we're seeing signs in recent weeks that he's adapting to that. He's come into the team since McAllister's been out, and I think been largely flawless. I thought another really, really brilliant performance from him. He's not quite got that passing range that McAllister's got. He's not as creative, but in terms of just doing the pure job of a defensive midfielder, you can have no complaints what Liverpool are getting at the moment. I mean, some of the statistics here: 9 recoveries tonight, 4 out of his 6 ground duels won. He's just so steady in there, and he does the job of defensive midfielder. He's never going to be like world class in terms of what he does with the ball. I think you're never going to see that side of his game very suddenly develop, but what I think is that, in terms of the defensive stuff, you couldn't be asking for more. And I think Arsenal's going to be a good game for him, because they're going to have some real ball players in that midfield. Can he get involved in that battle? Can he win the battle? Can he help Liverpool get on top? It's going to be a really interesting test for him, but I think at the moment you're seeing him massively step up. So excited to see how he can do in that game. Now, move forward into those sort of 2-8s and talk about Dominic Szoboszlai, again one of those first teamers who's thrown in to start, and I actually thought he needed a start today, because I think his confidence has dipped a little bit recently and he's not looked the same player, and maybe he does need that rhythm of regular games to sort of keep him in shape and keep him ready. And I think today what will have given him an absolutely massive lift is scoring that absolutely brilliant opener that he gets. It's such a good finish from just outside the area. He arrows it into the bottom corner. We had a lot of comparisons with Steven Gerrard in the early weeks of his Liverpool career, but that was a very Gerrard-esque finish as well, even though things have dipped from him recently. I really think that goal, brings him back to those comparisons, and also hopefully can give him the confidence he needs to kick back on. I mean, he creates 4 chances in the game, and that is again something that's really dipped in his recent play. He's struggled to create chances. He's not been as involved creatively, but we saw that return to his game today, so that's really good timing, because ahead of that Arsenal game, Liverpool are going to need him to be back to his best, and the goal, the confidence of that, and his play in the moments after the goal, I think you saw his head was up, his chest was out. he looked like a different player, so really hope that he can take that forward into the coming games, because it was a really good performance from him tonight, as was true of most of the team, to be honest. Now I finish off the midfield with Curtis Jones, and wow, man of the match for me. What a performance! Just generally, he did all the things that you would expect Curtis Jones to do. So a 93% passing accuracy. He's so steady in there, isn't he? He's a facilitator, but during the game, it's kind of funny. I sit next to Neil Jones, who you may know, a Liverpool reporter, and we were talking about the fact that he has an opportunity to shoot early doors and doesn't take it. He passes the ball and keeps it instead. And he said, you think back to what he was like when he was in the academy, and he used to score from everywhere. Confidence to run into the box and score goals, and shooting from outside the box and scoring goals. And it seems like since he's come into the first team, he's really been asked to sort of keep it simple rather than using that expression and showing that side of his game. I think today he showed how good he can be when he takes those shots on. Maybe he's ready to now take that step, because he's got the steady side of his game absolutely locked down. He wins his duels in midfield. He keeps the ball constantly. Can he just add that extra bit back in that he used to have back in the academy? And I think we saw the first signs of that today. Two absolutely brilliant finishes. I mean, the first one, he has no right to nutmeg the keeper from such a tight angle at the Kop end. It's just a brilliant finish, and one that sort of takes you by surprise with the quality of it. And then the second, he takes the ball just inside the West Ham half and dribbles all the way into the box, and has the composure when he gets to that final moment to just drop the shoulder one more time, just opens up the goal, and he basically passes it in. Absolutely brilliant performance from Jones. Love to see that. And I think you would have said with Curtis Jones starting tonight and Ryan Gravenberch not having a hamstring injury, it's just fatigue, wasn't it? It looked like Gravenberch would be the one to start against Arsenal, but can you leave Jones out when he's had that huge confidence boost there, and the way he's playing, and I think the way he's played generally across the season, really, in terms of he has been massively influential when he's been fit and been able to play. So personally, I would like to see Curtis Jones in for Arsenal off the back of that performance, because I think he's doing the world of good in terms of his confidence. But I also think he's so steady, he's so reliable in these big games. I think Liverpool really should be calling on him to start in that game. Do let me know what you think about that one in the comments. Now, moving to the forward line now, Harvey Elliott on that right hand side with Mohamed Salah given a rest and just being on the bench, and I thought showed himself to be a really good option there. Now he plays the role very differently to Mohamed Salah. He hasn't quite got that electric pace to constantly get in behind, but I still think he's showing development in terms of space. He does look quicker this season. I think that's helpful. When you train, he can train pace, he can work on it, and he is growing a little bit. You can get quicker as you get older, so it's for young players certainly. So I think we are seeing a little bit. He's getting better at that, but as I say, he still plays the role a little bit differently. But I think he's still so creative in there. He's still able to get shots off. I mean, 5 shots tonight, 3 chances created. That's exactly the sort of numbers that you want from your forward. Those are Mohamed Salah-esque numbers. So it shows you. I think it was a little preview tonight of what it will be like when Mohamed Salah goes away to AFCON, and I think Harvey Elliott has really staked a claim there to start those games on that right wing, because he's shown himself to be really capable of playing there. I really loved his performance, and I think one of the things he really brings to the team when he's in it is that he really gets Liverpool playing. He demands the ball, he lends the ball, he's those quick little passes in and around, and I think it helps bring fluency to Liverpool's attack. So although I don't expect him to start against Arsenal, I think if it's 0-0 around 60 minutes, I think he has to be your first sub at the moment, because I think every time he's on the pitch he's making a positive impact. And as I say, I really liked his performance. He looks full of confidence at the moment. So like I say, if you need him against Arsenal, I think he has to, you need to break the deadlock, or you need a goal late in the game. Harvey Elliott has to be the one for me to break that deadlock. He's the one you have to look for. Alongside him in attack, Darwin Núñez starting on the left hand side this time rather than the centre forward role, and I actually think that role really does suit him. I think some of the struggles you've seen him have at centre forward sometimes, I think it's because there's so much a centre forward needs to do in a Jurgen Klopp team. We saw that Firmino was excellent at it in terms of they've got to start the press, they've got to start the triggers, they've got to be so useful in build up and know what's around them, hold the ball up, turn out, put in players for assists. Whereas the left, I think he can play with a bit more freedom, and I think we saw that today. I thought one of his best performances in a long time actually. He gets an assist for the Curtis Jones goal with really good vision actually to slip him in behind after that lung bursting run, and he's very unlucky not to get a goal of his own. He hits the post, and Salah should do better with the follow up actually, but it's a really good effort, and good to see him getting shots again actually, because I think recently we've spoken so much about the fact that he's missed chances in the past for Liverpool, and that's been one of the things that he's really struggled with. But what's happened recently that's been more concerning than that is actually he hasn't had a lot of chances, he hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but today you saw him back amongst the opportunities. I mean, he has 3 shots in the game I've got written down here, which is, you want to see him getting those numbers, because if he keeps getting chances, then eventually the goals will come and things will turn for him. So good to see him getting a few more shots today, and I actually think he's given the manager something to think about on that left hand side, with Luis Diaz not being quite in great form at the moment. Do you use Nunez down the left for the visit of Arsenal at the weekend? I think that's something to think about. Now I'll finish off the forwards with and the team as a whole, actually, with Gakpo. Again, he's a player, I don't know why some people seem to be down on him at the moment. I think Liverpool just play better when he's on the pitch. I think he gives you so much in terms of setting that press, or I think he's still got the edge over Nunez in terms of getting the ball up the pitch as well. He's so secure technically, he's got the strength to shrug defenders off. He's got a brilliant finish on him from either close range or long distance, as we saw tonight. There's another goal from out the box. He does seem to get those and pick those up, and so that's really good for his confidence, but also shows what a threat he could be. So I thought that was absolutely brilliant. A great finish, and again, similar to Nunez on the left hand side, that seems to work really well. So do you need to put Gakpo in from the start against Arsenal in that centre forward role? I would argue that's something to really think about, again, because Luis Diaz isn't in great form. Now I'm going to finish up now with just talking about a few of the substitutes. Mohamed Salah, great again for him to get a goal. You want your forwards getting goals, because they sort of dried up of late recently, haven't they? So Mohamed Salah coming on, a typically cool finish, really, really coolly taken. That was a great finish and good for his confidence again. Trent Alexander-Arnold, 2 assists after he comes on, and the one that he puts Salah through is just a brilliant first-time ball. He's so important to Liverpool. I spoke earlier about, in terms of his right-back role, does he need to stick wide a little bit more frequently? And maybe that's something to think about, but I still think you have to absolutely get him in the team, because his passing range is out of this world, and he showed that in his substitute appearance today. And I just wanted to have a little note for Conor Bradley as well. His first touch when he comes on is a volleyed passing behind for Salah, perfectly weighted, and I think he's really, in recent games when he's had the opportunity to be in and around the first team, has really shown that he's capable. So hopefully more opportunities for him, because I think he's really another potentially hugely impressive academy product, and there's a few of those making an impact on the pitch at the moment. So looking forward to seeing more from Conor Bradley now that he's fit again. So that's my summary of the match and the individual performances. Please do let me know in the comments what you thought. Who was your man of the match? Who you think played really well, and what do you think the team's going to look like for Arsenal? Because some big decisions off the back of this game for Jurgen Klopp, I would say. So I'm going to wrap it up there and ask you, of course, to like and subscribe if you don't subscribe, because there's plenty more to come. We've still got Arsenal at the weekend, the build up to that, and then of course my usual match review here from Anfield. So I will see you very, very soon.